Welcome back, guys, with the Cigar Symphony podcast with Kevin and
Don.
It's our first episode with a special guest. You guys ready for this?
Oh yeah.
So today we have Phil. Here we go, guys. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing good, Kevin.
We have Phil from Foundation. We're super excited to have you. All right, so Phil, thank you for coming out. We're super excited to have you. We're going to talk about Foundation, your journey, who you are as a person in the cigar industry, what got you into the cigar industry. So I'm excited to hear about your story. Thank you for sharing what you're going to share that you haven't shared yet. So let's get this going. So what are we going to smoke today? I think
All
since
right.
it's a cigar podcast.
Well, we're going to smoke the Axum cigar. We're going to do the Maduro wrapper. So this is a 10 count box, and we always include a little bit of the story with our cigars as well. The Axumite Kingdom was the ancient kingdom of Ethiopia. And of course, you guys know, a lot of people know, we have a long-standing connection with Ethiopia, the history, and a lot of our brands, from the Tabernacle to the Wise Men. So the Axum used to be called the Matapa for all you Foundation nerds out there. Just ran into some issues with that name, decided to switch over to Axum, still honoring the legacy and heritage of the Ethiopians. This is the father of Haile Selassie on the band. Ross McKinnon is his name. And this is a beautiful Ecuadorian Sumatra on the wrapper, high-level priming for the Maduro. The Connecticut broadleaf that's in the Tabernacle is the binder on this, and then Nicaraguan filler. So
Yes.
box pressed, so let me just pull these two out. And
Oh, thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kevin. Oh boy. Oh yeah, that's
And what's the size on this?
so this one is the Robusto, the 5x50. It's got the little pigtail on it. How do you guys do the pigtail?
I just,
Put out. Somebody told me you're supposed to bite the pigtail. Is that right? Has anybody ever heard that?
whatever floats your boat.
right.
You can bite the pigtail.
Nice and everything nice. That's the shorthand tasty notes on this cigar for me.
All right.
Cedar spice and everything nice. So thank you so much for this amazing cigar here. Let's talk a little bit about it before we get into your story. What are you getting so far?
Okay.
I'm on a very fresh palate because I haven't smoked for 2 days.
Of course, you're going to get the pepper.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that Sumatra's coming through as like a black walnut
Oh yeah.
nuttiness to it. As you said, roasted espresso, coffee notes. Right off the rip, you smoking the tips of the leaf, you're going to get that power. So I'm anticipating quite a transition into second, third. It's a beautiful, sharp burn line. You can see that volcanic ash. And I love a box press. It's just a superior draw.
You had us pick from a couple of choices.
Right.
And I already had enough pressure setting up the video, but left it up to you.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great pick as well.
Oh yeah.
So Phil, tell us the story about how you found Foundation, how Foundation found you. What happened there?
Yeah, so I was, I've been smoking cigars seriously for like 15 or 20 years. So I kind of came at it, from the ground up. Consumer, occasional, getting into it, starting more regular smoking with friends, hanging out. Some of those friends are talking about, YouTube videos, magazine articles, just started reading, studying more about it, getting more into it as kind of a hobby, but spending a lot of time trying to learn about it. So then the opportunity came up a couple of years ago. A friend of mine was managing a store in Manchester, Connecticut, and he said, "Hey, I got a part-time opening. Do you want to work a couple days a week and get a discount on cigars?" And I'm like, why not? I'm there all the time anyhow. Might as well get paid for 2 of the days that I'm there.
Right.
That's right.
And that was just a great experience. So I felt at that time I really learned a lot more about it from the retail side, the buying and purchasing, and also the selling, working on, selling cigars, helping people pick out cigars, that kind of stuff. And so I became friends with a rep that had been there a few times doing events. And one day I just thought, I wonder if I'd want to do, something in the cigar industry. And this rep really helped me out. She did a great job. Shout out to Crystal. You might know Crystal.
I've heard of her. Yeah,
And,
I've seen her a couple of times.
She told me she was kind of said, hey, let's look at your resume. I can tell you how to shift some language for the cigar industry. And she said, I know Foundation is looking. So Foundation's offices are in Ellington, Connecticut, about 18 minutes from where I live. So that was really the big thing. I already knew Foundation. I loved Foundation. I could stay in Connecticut as my home base for the area. And, so she got me connected with the right person, a series of interviews, and 1 year ago this month is when I started for Foundation in-house rep.
Congratulations.
Happy
That is
anniversary.
awesome. So you are originally from Connecticut?
Not originally. Originally, I'm from Colorado. So I grew up in Colorado. And the short story is, when I was in Colorado at school, I met a girl from Long Island. So that's how we got back to Connecticut. But I've lived in San Diego, Seattle, Ohio, and Connecticut for the last 22 years. So I've been in Connecticut a while now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Go into telling us how being a rep, what's it like to be married and have a family while being a rep?
Right. So I am married. That girl from Long Island stuck with me for 35 years, which is amazing. Yeah,
How about
I know.
that?
I'm as surprised as you are now. And we have 4 children,
Not surprised.
3 boys and a girl. So my kids, are all in their 20s. So that makes being a rep, a little easier to be on the road, because I don't have all the things that you do when you're taxi cab driver, and, chief cook and bottle washer for everybody, and doing all that stuff. So that definitely makes it easy. I'm usually on the road 4 or 5 days a week. Part of my territory is Connecticut. So, there's enough shops in Connecticut to do 2 weeks in Connecticut. So then I'm home every night. It's kind of a combination. I don't feel like I'm on the road all the time, but you are on the road a significant amount of the time. So, but I think, once you're married for a while and nobody's going anywhere, just because, you don't want to be bothered anymore by changing anything. There's a lot of trust. We have a lot of trust, a lot of confidence, we know each other well. It's like, you guys probably know, you have certain friends that no matter how long the space is, when you get together, it's like you never left. You just pick up right where you left off. Right. So in a shorter sense, it's like, I'm gone for a few days, I come home, we just pick right up. We stay in touch and all that good stuff. So it's definitely, any job, being married and having kids is a challenge.
Yes.
You have to learn how to manage your time well, put your priorities in the right place. And when my daughter, who's my baby girl, calls, I'm still going to say, excuse me a minute, I got to take this call.
Right, that's right.
So let's talk a little bit about Foundation, and in terms of what has been your experience with as a rep and meeting new people. What has been your experience? Because as a rep myself, that's one of my favorite things, is just going out and meeting new people, and the journey, and talking about a brand that you believe in. So tell us a little bit about that, and then go into maybe some of your favorite cigars in the line.
Okay. Yeah, just like you said, my favorite part of this job is doing this. Is sitting down with people, smoking a cigar. When I was just a member, a regular at a lounge, you go to a place where you know people and they know you, and you have great conversations. And this is one of the great equalizers in our divided society, because it inherently slows you down while you're smoking it, and you take your time, and it regulates your breathing, and you have conversations, as I know you guys have had. So, traveling around New England and upstate New York, visiting the different lounges, getting to know the different people. Getting to know people like you guys. That is the best part of my job, because I love meeting people, love talking with people. And I love, the shared passion we have. We all love the leaf. We love the cigar, and we love to talk about it, and you learn stuff from everybody. So that, doing events for people, helping people learn more about Foundation, and have an experience where they can really enjoy what they're doing. So I break it down 3 ways. I don't know if this will make the podcast, but this is for you. So I believe it's very simple. There are 3 goals to any event. Number 1 is sales, because we want to sell cigars. We want to make money at it, right? Number 2 is introducing people to Foundation, because the more they feel connected to the company and to the story, the more likely they are to buy that cigar.
Correct.
And then number 3, create a great experience. Because if they remember that they had a great night and they associate it with Foundation, they're going to come back to that store and make the sales. You see how that kind of goes around in a
Right.
circle? So sales, the story of Foundation, and a great experience. I believe that that's the key to success.
I love that. In terms of the Foundation line, because
Yep.
they have some good stuff. Actually,
They do.
Don and I, when we did
Yes, I saw
our,
that.
our top 10, our top two cigars were Foundation.
Right. As you guys all know, I mean, Nick is a master blender. I think he's one of the best blenders in the entire business. And he has been doing that for years and years. And so these new cigars he's come out with, to me, are just a testimony to that. You know, the way he can combine different leaves and blends and knows the right proportion and just exactly how long to age it is just truly masterful. And it makes great cigars. And I appreciate you guys, you know, affirming that. It's always good, you know, to hear that
Yeah.
as well. 10th anniversary is a great cigar. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year by producing this special cigar for a 12-month period. So we're going to continue to produce it till September. The wrapper is a hybrid of the two Tabernacle wrappers. So the Connecticut broadleaf and the 142 Havana seed made a hybrid plant of those two, and that's the wrapper on that particular cigar. So very unique, something new. Brazilian binder. It all works together. Again, the master blender knows how to put everything together and make
Yep.
it work. So I like to tell people, you may be a great chef. You know, you give me the same ingredients and the same recipe, and it ain't going to taste the same as when a great chef puts it together.
Right.
And I think Nick does a great job of blending those. But yeah, that's a great one. The Night Commander the other one?
Night Commander
On
is
your list,
number
number
two.
two. Yeah, Night Commander is an amazing cigar. Comes off of the Tabernacle line. And I just want to give a shout out to the Night Commander. So that also connects to the Ethiopian heritage.
Right.
Nick has done so much work for the country of Ethiopia in establishing a charitable trust there and helping them to bring back artifacts, you know, that were stolen from them back to the country, that they gave him a few years ago the title of Night Commander in Ethiopia. So that's what that cigar honors, but all of our proceeds, we take no profit on the Night Commander. They all go to charity in Ethiopia.
Shout out to Nick for that. Nick is doing some, apart from making great cigars, he's creating such an impact for not only his love of history, how it connects him around the world, but just for that community in specific. It's so great to hear that he is doing something just to impact a
Right,
community
right.
with something that he loves to do. You know,
Exactly.
just fueling passion with passion.
Absolutely, that's a great way to put it, yeah.
Yes, sir. So how we doing on the cigars?
Doing good.
I'm into the second, third, just the beginning of the second, third, if you will. Subtle sweetness. The coffee is now borderline baker's chocolate. That subtle sweetness just hit me, and I knew that was the transition right there, a key indicator. Just a fantastic, as you said, the guy's got
Yeah, his
talent.
blend.
You know, he just has talent. It's such an effortless draw. The smoke is silky. The retro definitely makes you feel it, but it's not overly aggressive. You know, so you can
Right.
really enjoy that retro and get the organic notes out of the right through the nose. Crazy good.
It is good.
Yeah,
Almost a brownie.
with walnuts.
Well, yeah.
Yes, we call
Think
those
that-
man brownies. What? Man brownies? Sure. Yeah, they got nuts.
Now, Don, you as a general manager and equity owner here at the White Ash, what was it like doing business with Phil and bringing in Foundation?
Well, Foundation, when I tried it myself on my own, you know, we didn't have it at the shop yet, and I'm like, we're missing out. You know, I have to have these. And then I started exploring the brand. So it was a no-brainer to put an order in when I did. Phil came along, and it just kind of got that extra level because he's a joy to deal with. He's easygoing, super social. People love the event. It just the last event we had was one of the most successful, and thank you for that.
good to
It was
hear.
incredible. He interacted with all our customers.
Yep.
We sold cigars, tons of accolades. We did some nice prizes, giveaways. We had a great deal for them, so they were able to, you know, get into a box, get some exclusive cigars, get some swag, so they can, you know, show the brand and their support for the brand as well. It was just as perfect as can be of an event. You know, it just match what our selection already has and enhance that. And then bringing in the exclusive ones. You know, the Tabernacles were already on fire. Charter Oak's on fire. Axum, Wise Man, people can pronounce Wise Man now.
Yes, yes.
Right?
That helped people.
It did. It did.
What? What did?
Well, the first cigar Foundation came out with was a word that no one could pronounce. It means the wise men in Nicaragua in Spanish, but there's an old play called how do you pronounce it? I say Guaguense. Huiwense. I've heard lots of different
Oh,
ways.
the Wayway.
The Wayway.
Say, you know, and it's
but it's one of the oldest political satire plays in the hemisphere, and so it's a very rich cultural Nicaraguan name. But of course,
Right.
it is one of the strangest words, and people couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah.
But in a
Looks
way,
like
I think
Guyanese.
that it kind of gave it attention. I think people came in
sure.
saying, "What's that cigar that you can't pronounce?"
I don't know.
And people knew
Just
exactly
smoke it.
which
Just
cigar it
smoke
was, right?
Yeah. So I think that was a good move. You know, the reblends are on point. And then when I tasted the 10th anniversary, it was all over. I'm like, that's it. That's number one. Which I already liked the Night Commander.
Yep.
You
Right.
know, that was fantastic as well. The Tabernacles, both the 142, as we call it, or the Havana Seed, and the standard broadleaf is terrific. There's not a bad smoke in the line. They raised the bar, is what they did. I'm trying to think of the other one, and I'm drawing a blank that I really like. Is the 10th anniversary, the Night Commander,
Another special one you're thinking about? Oh, the Senator?
the Senator. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and the packaging, right?
Yeah.
You
The
know,
packaging is this.
unbelievable.
So there's a cool story on that one. That one comes in a replica of an Egyptian coffin box that they found when they discovered King
Right.
Tut's tomb. So the castle, the Highclere Castle line, is a castle in England where Lord Carnarvon helped fund Howard Thurman's expedition to discover King Tut's tomb. So we wanted to honor that, by coming out with a special cigar off that Highclere Castle line to commemorate that, to honor that kind of historical significance. So even had some Egyptian hieroglyphics from Yale University right on the box so that it's culturally accurate. So just really attention to detail, meticulous. But again, like the Night Commander, that perfecto size, but coming off that line, it's Ecuadorian Habano. So it's more of a medium body.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. The experience on that perfecto of the Senator is just amazing, smooth, delicious.
That
Quality. I don't know how you guys describe it, but it's almost like you know the quality of the tobacco by smoking the cigar. You know what I mean?
it has a clarity to it, that pureness, where it's just everything just meshes together. So you're going to get, ebb and flows of different notes as you should with quality cigar. But you can tell it's just to get that clean tobacco flavor. But I love that box that it comes in the secret spice. It's a replica of the one that was found in the tomb.
Yeah, one of the boxes
Yeah.
where they would put some artifacts in or possessions of the pharaoh. And Senator, literally means incense or of the gods. So it kind of ties into the whole
Right.
smoking experience, which is a very spiritual experience.
Very, very good.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself going in 2026? What is your goal with Foundation? How excited are you about what Foundation is going to do
Yep.
this year? Because if last year was this good,
Yeah.
I cannot imagine
Right.
what is coming out in 2026, and it's only the beginning.
Right. Right. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I think that there was a lot of challenges last year, that were overcome with incredible creativity and commitment and loyalty from our customers. And so I believe that this year is going to build even more. Being in the Northeast, one of the smaller territories, it's not someplace big like Florida or Texas. So my goals are just to continue to grow the territory by adding new accounts, by continuing to work with shops, to make sure that we have, as many lines as possible, but that it fits, the customer base. Just continue to grow. I'm really, really looking forward to that. I call it spreading the gospel of Foundation, but I believe it's a great cigar with a great story and a great history. And again, as we educate people about it, this is New England. We're Connecticut, but this is like our area,
Yeah.
Growing tobacco, if you go back and study the history of this country, was very integral, if not one of the most important products that helped this country get started. And we're New England. We're like old school of the old school,
Yeah.
And to be able just to continue to connect our cigars with that history and heritage of cigars and tobacco in this area is what I'm most excited about, because not everyone knows the story. So I'm just going to keep going until everyone knows the story. But we've been opening tons of new accounts. We've been helping people grow their business. You know, what I love about being a rep, for me and Don, it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
There's no competing goals. I mean,
No.
he makes money, I make money. It's like we're partnered together, you know, in this process. And then I don't know yet, they haven't announced if there's anything brand new coming out for 2026, but I'm excited to keep promoting the 10th anniversary, to keep promoting the Wiseman Lancero. We came out with a new size on that line,
Yes.
and then continuing to do events where you get access to the exclusive 1810s.
Right.
You know, I mean, not everybody's got them yet, but by the end of
No.
2026, I would love to be able to have offered 1810, you know, in every lounge if that's a
Right.
possibility.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And do you have any personal goals in the cigar industry that you dream about ever accomplishing, like making your first cigar, like, or
Yeah.
doing your own thing in the industry?
That's a question. Honestly, at this point, I don't.
Okay.
You just made me think, I wonder if I'll look back on this episode in a few years and be like, oh, I didn't have any idea then, you know,
Yeah.
where I'm at right now, because I am just enjoying this so much.
There you go.
And so my goal is really, I'm entering my second year. My goal is, you know, to just do this, you know, and enjoy it and just soak in all I can, you know, in these first few years. And then we'll see where it goes from there. I don't necessarily want to make my own cigar because I feel like I look up so much to the master blenders of the industry and what they do. You
Right.
know, at one point you always think you want to own or run a lounge, but I don't know that that's all it's cracked up to be. You tell me, Don. Is that
It can be.
Right.
It can be. That's a whole nother episode, I think.
Right.
When it comes to, you
Right.
know, going to a lounge, being part of a business ownership in a lounge, it
Right.
changes your experience
Right.
with that. We're very fortunate here to have the customer base that we do.
Right.
It's a solid group of people that we have, very respectful, very friendly. That's really what makes it. As long as you don't put me behind the bar, we're going to be fine.
Right.
You know.
So at this point, I just love, I love Foundation so much, you know. And again, I love that. I love being able to partner with people, you know, that are doing that kind of work that you're doing in creating this. I believe that lounges are extremely important socially, you know, and for mental health as much as they are for the business that we do. But right now, I just want to continue to grow with Foundation. I want to continue to, you know, be a part of something that I believe is coming up and is going to just continue to get bigger and bigger over the next few years. And so those are my short-term goals. And along the way, I get to smoke cigars and hang out with great people. And
Yeah.
so I'm just kind of living in the moment. At this point in my life, I've accomplished a lot that I'm very proud of. So I'm really happy to be in a spot where I'm just kind of enjoying this process as it is. And honestly, my personal goal is to learn as much as I can, you know, because I'm still relatively new to the industry side of it. So my goal is to learn as much as I can about the industry, about cigars, you know, from seed to final product, and just continue to be on that learning journey.
Well, they're very lucky to have you. You're a great addition to Foundation. Like
Thank
I said, it's been nothing but great experience, from interactions to events, just ordering, you keeping me in the loop as to what's available, what's coming out and stuff. So it makes my job a lot easier, and I appreciate that.
Right. I love promoting great lounges like this too. So, you know, one of the things I do is when I'm at events now, you know, people will travel, which I love about working Foundation. People will travel for a Foundation event.
Yeah.
So I was at an event recently where people had traveled some distance, you know, a couple of hours or more
Really?
to get to the event.
Wow.
And these are people that like to travel, right? So they're asking me about, you know, what are some of the best lounges you've been in? And invariably, you know, people will want to know, if they're not from Rhode Island, what are the best places in Rhode Island. And I'm always mentioning a White Ash.
Thank you.
And just so that you know, if people have been here, the feedback has been 100% positive.
Awesome.
If people hadn't, they put it on their list of places to visit when they come to Rhode Island. So I love kind of that cross-pollination of, you know, getting people to visit other lounges as well, you know.
Yeah, that's one of my goals this year, is just to experience more lounges, whether it's in my region or not. Is just
Right.
to get to know, because that's another way that you learn the business.
Right.
It's just how people set up their lounges, the atmosphere, what are their ideas along of creating the atmosphere that they have. So one of the things that I know about you is that every Sunday you share the word on your social media, because you're a pastor.
Right.
Correct? Which is another thing that I love. I know that in the industry, two things that we never talk about is, you know, religion or
That's
politics.
right. Banned in every lounge.
Yes. And at the same time, you find people that you have a lot in common with when it comes to those things. So you can
Right.
have great conversations. But I just wanted to put that out there. So share with the audience like what you do so that maybe
Yeah.
they can follow you
Yeah.
on YouTube and your social medias. They can get to know you more in that aspect.
So I've, been a pastor for over 30 years. I did a lot of work in youth ministry. I've worked in churches all over the country, where I've lived, and really have had, by and large, a very positive experience. And I know not everybody does, but I'm very grateful for that. I believe that we're all spiritual. So, while we don't like the terms religion and politics, they contain things within them that affect our lives, I mean, we may not talk politics, but we're going to complain about the cost of things, right? Or we're going to talk about how the stock market's doing, or we're going to, respond to something. So it's always there with us.
Yeah.
Same with religion. Everybody's spiritual. There's a spirituality to everyone, whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, whatever system you were brought up in. And sometimes I found that people just need a safe place to talk about the really bad church experience they had. And that's what I feel like is part of my ministry. I want to give people a safe space, non-judgmental, to just process and talk about things. But people still believe in God or some concept of God, A lot of the products of Foundation, have a spiritual connection because Ethiopia, traces its royal lineage all the way back to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. So they have a long history with Judaism. They're one of the very first nations or empires to become Christian. So they have a long association with Christianity. And then in that region of the world, there's a long association with the Islamic faith. So you're looking at three of the major faiths that have been a part of history all have connections in Ethiopia. So there's always a connection. There's always a connection. And I believe that when you talk about spirituality, you talk about those things that are important to you, the deeper things of life, questions of love and purpose and forgiveness and how to deal with pain and difficulties in life. Yeah, so every Sunday I'm still sharing. I've kind of shifted to more of an online format. So there's a podcast, video and audio that I put out every Sunday. And then I have a small congregation where we still gather together, to support each other as well.
So we'll share those links with you guys in the description of the video so that you can go ahead and check that out. Now, you mentioned connection, and I know that we brought this up in the beginning of the video, how this is the greatest equalizer ever. You can sit down with anybody.
Yep.
I know that Don, being in the industry longer than we have, he has met some incredible people.
Yes.
What are some of your experiences in terms of, going into a lounge? Even Don, when he's done explaining his experience, share a little bit about, how this amazing product just equalizes an atmosphere for you guys. So
Yeah, that's it happens, nearly all the time. I mean, it's just I tell people I've had some of the most interesting and in-depth conversations in cigar lounges with people, that I've ever had. One guy I met in New York one time, we were just sitting in the lounge. He found out I was from Connecticut, and he had grown up in Connecticut, but was now living in Manhattan. But this guy knew so much about the history of Connecticut. Like, he gave me a literal history lesson, this guy. And I was like, wow. And just, him sharing all of that, I really walked away with a new understanding and appreciation for some of the history, of the state I live in. Everything from that to, being in a lounge one night, and a guy comes over to me, because he knows, I'm also a pastor. And he said, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, sure. So we come to the back room, kind of like this. And he said, my mom's dying, and I just need some help processing it, So we just talked about what he was going through with his mom and all the issues, something every single one of us faces. At some point we have to deal with a parent that passes. Yeah. And so we just shared, but it was through the connection we made, smoking cigars, talking about cigars, building that friendship, till when he needed to talk to somebody, he was like, I trust the guys in this lounge. These are my people. These are my brothers. This is who I want to talk to.
Yeah.
Wow. What about yourself, Don?
Well, the funny thing about it is again, you never know who you're sitting next to. 9 times out of 10, the conversation begins before the introduction. You just say, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. You talk a little bit. Oh, what's your name, by the way? It's not by the way, it's Don. But We get the conversation going, we introduce each other, but we still don't know anything beyond that. We're just talking about anything. It could be about the cigar, local sports. They realize that I'm part of the lounge, so they'll ask me questions about the lounge, things of that nature, about cigars. I'll lay some knowledge on them, kind of wraps them in, stuff like that. But a lot of times I don't find out who they are till way later because they don't volunteer that. So I've been sitting next to pro athletes and not know who they are. I don't watch. I mean, the only TV I see is here. So, I mean, I've sat down with Celtics, Patriots, guy that played for Dallas, other people, and I go to other lounges and I have similar experiences, but that changes the dynamic because I'm a customer now. That conversation will start the same, but the conversation will definitely take a different turn, and it'll be more about who I am and outside of the white ash, which is refreshing. It's been a great experience. We have an amazing following here. A lot of people that you'd probably recognize if you saw them here. It's becoming a destination lounge if it hasn't already. But the conversations we have, it just makes the day go by. We talk a lot about cigars. They'll fill me in on a cigar that maybe I haven't had before. I give them a number of what I call weapons to choose from in my humidor, where they can satisfy their palate. I love giving knowledge about cigars and tobacco. And even people here, I love when they come in for the first time, because I can steer them in the right direction, create good habits rather than breaking bad ones.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't ask you, Phil, but what was your first cigar experience like?
My first cigar experience was, I was in college, and I would say, so it's a two-parter. My first cigar experience wasn't with a real premium cigar. It was, my friend and I were in college, went to this bingo parlor to play bingo, and everybody was, smoking cigarettes, and you couldn't see above this level in a room like that. So he's like, let's get some cigars and fight back. So we bought some Phillies from the gas station, and we went in there, and all the old ladies hated the cigar smoke, and they moved away from us. But I eventually was like, I want to try a premium cigar. So I was on Long Island, visiting my wife's family, and I drove by this little smoke shop place in Huntington, New York, and they had a big Te Amo sign, on the side. And I'm like, all right, let me go in there. And because it was a big sign, I'm like, hey, give me one of those Te Amo cigars. So that was my first premium cigar, as it were. And then I was like, oh, okay, there's another level to this whole thing. And it kind of started from there.
Was it the Revolution?
To be honest with you, I don't even remember because I was that new. I just said,
yeah.
give me a Te Amo, because I saw it on the sign, and the guy handed me one.
There you go.
I love hearing about everybody's first experience because there's always something to laugh about.
Right.
Or whether it's a bad or good experience,
Right,
it's always,
right.
You're always laughing about it now because it was like, how the heck did my first cigar was a 6x60 and I was the skinniest thing ever. So the cigar was bigger than me, and it was great. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know you don't want to make your first cigar. I know you're enjoying Foundation. So where do you see yourself, how do you see yourself growing within the company? I know you haven't visited a farm yet.
Yes, that is a goal. I would like to visit a farm, outside of Connecticut. I mean, and that's great. But yes, definitely one of my goals is to be able to visit, some of the factories and farms down in Nicaragua or the Dominican. But kind of Nicaragua's where we're based. That's where most of the cigars come from that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So that is definitely on my list. I mean, I do love to travel, so any chance that I would get to travel, that's related to the cigar industry would be amazing. Be it Europe or Central America or South America, wherever. That would definitely be something that I would like to do. And then I think the things I love about this job, are just the stories and communicating the stories, and like you said, connecting people with great cigars. So that's the areas that I would like to expand in. Just more opportunities to communicate about the brand and about the cigars, and to just be able to do that in a creative and engaging fashion. That's the areas that I think I'd like to grow in, as well. But again, right now I'm just a sponge. I'm learning a lot about sales,
Right.
a lot about selling and buying and purchasing, and that kind of stuff. But in the communication, the marketing, the telling of the story, which I think Foundation is also exceptional at. I get a lot of feedback about our branding, our marketing, you know, everything from the bands to the boxes to the stories, you know, to the interviews that Nick does. You know, you can learn so much. So, yeah, visiting the farm, seeing this stuff firsthand, and immersing in the culture. I'd love to do that. And then second, you know, expanding my ability to communicate and share this great product and experience with as many people as possible.
So let the Cigar Symphony know when you go to Nicaragua, so we can be your recording team.
All
And
right.
we can just go.
All right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I do have a question. Why the name Foundation?
I'm not going to attempt to tell the full story.
Okay.
So Nick will tell it much better. But the idea is that I think he was having a conversation with a good friend of his in Italy, and they were just talking about, you know, building something. You know, so the idea is that you want to have a great foundation to build
There you go.
a great business or a great product. So it's kind of as simple as that.
Yeah.
He can elaborate much better
Sure.
on the story around it. But that's the simple answer. You know.
It really is a renaissance, man.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
the experiences he has and the amount of history he knows. Now, we can all tell who's been doing all the talking.
Yeah.
How's that last third?
It's got that perfect dance of cocoa to coffee.
I agree. I'm
You
so
know,
glad you said that.
It just ebb and flows so nicely. The nuttiness, obviously, of that wrapper is still there. I'd say it's a medium plus cigar.
Okay. I was
Okay.
going to ask you about strength because, you know, we're finding that strength is one of the most important pieces of information that the customer or consumer wants to know. How strong is this going to be? From the feedback I'm getting,
Yeah.
that is a bit subjective too. You know,
Well,
we always say
100%.
everybody's palate for taste is subjective, but it feels like strength is a bit subjective too, right?
There is, and there's two sides to that. And again, you got to draw the line between body and strength.
Okay.
So body is how intense the flavor profile is going to be. That's why I say medium plus. It is complex. It can be slightly aggressive to some people.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a sharpness to it, which I enjoy. The strength, on the other hand, is how much of nicotine effect you're going to get to it. I'm not getting hit by anything, but it's about tolerance. So that's where the subjectivity comes into play.
Right.
So how much can you handle? So if you're smoking 6 to 10 cigars a day, you're going to be able to
You know anyone who
handle it.
does that?
A couple. It is completely subjective. I might taste something that you're not going to get. They might get a note that I didn't find in the cigar. But everybody is different. There are, however, some very common notes that a lot of people can agree on cigars.
Right.
Especially if you're all smoking the same cigar. I might be trying to place the note, but if you say it, I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. Is it an allspice? Is it a nutmeg? Is it cinnamon?
Right.
Etc.
Yeah, even the aroma is a little sweet to me. It hits me with a sweet note, and then transition into a nice chocolate. Like when you open up that dark chocolate wrapper, you just wow.
Right.
But yeah, this for a first cigar
Yeah.
is, I mean, going up from here would
Right.
would be, because I know I learned something from Don, is like you wanna evolve, go up from where you're smoking, right? So even if you're gonna try to smoke a Connecticut after this,
I think we started. We set the bar a little high this morning.
You
by
did.
starting with this
Yeah,
one.
it's going to be a long day.
For me, that signature sweetness is the Connecticut broadleaf on the binder. That's, you know, a great leaf everybody knows about. But for me, in my palate, it does have kind of this signature, you know, subtle sweetness, and it does come through. You know, again, it's a different dish, if you will, to keep using the food metaphor. It's a different dish than the tabernacle, but because there's that similar ingredient, I definitely, you know, pick up on that sweetness of the Connecticut broadleaf.
Right, and that's a testament to the age and the process of using that leaf. Like if you used fresh, I mean like new broadleaf, you're going to miss that. You know, it's going to be masked by pepper and earth. This is a cigar that's made low and slow.
Right.
What are your top three? What are your top three go-to Foundation cigars?
Top 3 go-to Foundation cigars. Man, this is a great question because it's always changing. So whatever I say for here, probably the next interview, it'll be something that's a little different. And you have the special edition ones, right? So, you know, do you put those in the top 3 cigars, or is it like the top 3 that I would smoke on a regular basis?
yours,
But it's just
yours.
all the whole thing. So, so I would say, right now, the Night Commander is amazing. The Night Commander that came out this past year is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
I love the Night Commander. So I'd say the Night Commander. I'd say the Tabernacle, right now the 142
Okay.
wrapper, the red wrapper. I tell people that's always going to be a top 3 cigar for me, no matter what. I would say, for me at the moment, and I go back and forth, it's the Olmec Claro.
Okay.
I get more flavor, like you said, the flavor pro. I can taste more of the flavors in the Claro, and that's not to put the Maduro down because I love the Olmec Maduro. So catch me in a couple months, and I might be on that Maduro, Kevin.
Right.
But right now, I'd say Night Commander, Tabernacle 142, and Olmec Claro.
So when you say 142, is that the blend number they call the 142?
So it's the
for that
number of the
hybridization?
plant. So there's been a
Okay.
lot of agricultural innovation in Connecticut for a long time. So the Cuban seed, people believe General Putnam brought back during the Spanish-American War. So the Cuban seed's been growing in Connecticut soil for a couple hundred years, perhaps. But definitely in the last 100 years, you know, we have agricultural centers. UConn was an agricultural school to begin with. We've had a lot of funding in Connecticut. So there's been all kinds of different hybrids of plants that have been going on in Connecticut. So that indicates the number of that particular hybrid. So the Cuban seed grown in Connecticut soil, the number 142, that particular iteration, became the one that
That's the
everybody
one.
loved and
Right.
possible. So Havana Seed Connecticut 142 is the name of it. Yeah. It designates the specific hybrid.
Right. Because a lot of people don't realize it. And say, which tabernacle do you like? If somebody says the 142, I can go out there and ask 10 people. They're not going to know 142.
Right,
They're going
right.
to say Havana seed.
Havana Seed.
You want
yep.
the red label or the black label?
Right. And so I use those 3 interchangeably. I say 142, I say Havana Seed, or I say red label.
Right.
You know.
Do you have a top 3 for your foundation experience?
Well, we know the top 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys canonized the top 2 for your shop. So.
I'll say, yeah. The
10th anniversary.
10th anniversary. I love everything about that cigar, the blend. The size and the shape of that cigar has everything to do with the way that cigar smokes. You know, it's basically, it's a Solomon, okay? So you've got a more direct draw that's going to intensify the flavor profile. It starts smaller, then it blows up. So you're going to start intense, and then you're going to get a blast of that filler. And the way that he put this together, knowing how this cigar was going to smoke, did it all for me. That's the only reason I put it above the Night Commander, is because of the science behind
good point,
the vitola of that cigar.
Right.
Night Commander, again, indescribably good. Number 2. Number 3 dances around. It depends what I'm in the mood for.
I hear you.
I do like the Havana seed, the 142. I dance between the 2 Olmecs. If I want a chocolate bar, I want a milk chocolate bar. That's the difference
That's a
between
great
the
way to
2.
put it. That's a
The
great way to
Claro's
put it.
milk chocolate. The Maduro is a darker chocolate. And that won Best New Blend of 2024, didn't it? Yeah. So, again, number 3 is going to dance around. The Highclere Castle for Connecticut. Even the Maduro is a premium smoke. But I got to mention Chartero. The bang for the buck on that, it smokes like a $15 cigar and above. The Chartero Maduro to me is, I could smoke that every day and not get sick of it. You know, for what that is. And we sell out of them constantly. People just go to it, like, how is this this much? You want me to raise the price? No, okay. You know.
And that was intentional. Nick being from Connecticut, his grandfathers got him into smoking. A lot of people know the story. But, you know, the first cigar factory in America was in Connecticut in 1810. That's the story behind the event-only cigar. So there was a lot of companies making cigars, you know, and selling them in Connecticut. And his grandfathers only smoked Connecticut cigars. And a lot of those cigars, before the embargo, were Cuban filler. So you're talking Connecticut broadleaf for shade with a Cuban filler. I mean, those were the cigars.
Wow.
So in the Charter Oak, Nick wanted to make something that was rustic, that was reminiscent of those cigars, and that it was at the closest price point we could get, you know, to those days. So those 3 things kind of combined.
That makes sense.
And I agree with you. I think he succeeded on all levels
day.
in creating a great cigar. You'll even notice that packaging, you know, I mean, it's a big contrast to a lot of our packaging because it's very simple.
Yep.
You know, the band is simple, the box is simple,
Right.
and all of that's intended to invoke, the heritage of the olden days of smoking cigars in Connecticut. But the Charter Oak Maduro, we can talk about Vitolas when we have time, right? Because
Right, right.
The Charter Oak Maduro Toro is what's hitting for me right now.
Right.
That particular Vitola
Yes.
is just, I smoked that thing and I'm like, this thing is just a bomb. I just love it. It's just a flavor bomb for me.
What I appreciate is the name. Charter Oak was the oldest living tree
Right.
in Connecticut.
Right.
It unfortunately died 2 to 3 years ago, I believe. But that's
Right.
the main
Right.
reason for the design. There's the picture of the Charter Oak on the cover. It's on the band. My assumption is that they made it very plain. They passed the savings on the ornate
Yes.
on to the customer to
Yeah.
hit that price point. Just say it. It's a solid line. You can't go wrong with any cigar in the line.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, definitely number one for me is the Night Commander. Number two for me is a double Corona Corojo.
The Wiseman?
Yes.
Nice.
That's a lot of cigar.
That is.
I really
There's a lot of
enjoyed
cigar.
it after that dinner. It just,
yeah.
man, it was the best dessert ever. And right now the number three for me is the Wiseman Lancero Maduro.
Okay.
You had me revisit it again.
Okay.
At first, when I smoked it too fast, and it didn't really hit like it was supposed to.
That is a common issue, to put it generically, with
Yeah.
people that say they don't like Lanceros. You have to slow down with the Lancero.
Yeah.
You have to take your time.
Yeah, it's going to burn hot if you don't. It's,
So thank you for that revisit because I was like,
Absolutely.
oh my gosh, I learned how to slow down.
There you go.
What happened was I came in as a rep and I was like, I gotta try everything so I can know what to compare it to. And I was just
Right.
smoking everything, thinking about the next cigar. But if I was in those, I would have been done with this already and lighting up my second one probably halfway through that one. So thank you for sharing those top three. So just to end the podcast, do you have any advice for either new reps or anybody that wants to get into the industry? Like, what's it like? What to expect? Things that because somebody can be really excited about something they don't know about.
Right.
It's not always glamorous, but it is great work. So any advice that you have for reps out there or anybody that wants to get into the industry?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. Number one, if you want to do it well and be successful, it's not a hobby job. I think a lot of people don't understand the hustle, we call it. The hustle is real, and you have to be willing to commit to that and do that, which leads into my second point, is nothing replaces in-person presence. You have to be in stores in person. You have to talk to people in person. Texting, phone calls, emails, that all has its place because it's efficient, to get some tasks done. But the number one thing, if you want to be a rep, is you got to understand that part of the hustle is you got to get out to the shops. You got to talk to the people at the shops, talk to the owners or managers of the shops. I think that's the number one thing. So you've got to be able to connect with someone in person. There's no substitute. I don't know anything about your lounge unless I sit in it.
right.
Unless I walk through your humidor with you, unless I talk to the customers that are here, the regulars that are here, then I understand. Then I begin to learn. Not fully understand, but begin to learn about the lounge and its culture. So anybody wanting to be a cigar rep, there's no substitute, for being there in person.
Right.
And that means you're going to have to put in the hours and the driving to do it.
Yeah, that's well said. New England is a very personal area.
It is.
People want to see you. We want to talk to you. The reason we don't go through a generic distributor, if you will, is we want on-site support. We want to see them. We want to get those deals. We want to get event-only items that we can give to our customers. And you're not going to get any of that by using someone you never see or really deal with. You basically go to a portal and you make your order and the cigars come in and that's the end of it. So there's no swag. There's really no relationship there. It's vacant. So in New England, I find if you want to establish business profile with somebody and set up shop, you have to engage with them. And it's going to, 9 times out of 10, it's going to take you several visits to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
shelf space is very limited, and most any shop you go to, we're pretty much stocked, and we have to find creative ways to make room if we like something enough to bring it in, but we have to like you for.
And be persistent. You know, it doesn't have to be in an annoying or overbearing way,
Right.
but you be persistent. I've just this month opened up accounts that I've been working on since I started a year ago, but I'm opening them up now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it takes. Consistent, persistent, you know, just continuing to call, continuing to visit, continuing to check in. Everybody's on their own timetable, as you said.
Right.
Based on, you know, their setup. You know, a lot of it, like you said, is the size of the humidor. Sometimes it just takes a while to create that space for something new.
So you heard it from the man himself, Phil. Phil might help us get a connection so we can get Nick on the show. Wink, wink. But thank you so much for your time with us. And guys, you already know, we're going to put all the links so that you can go ahead and follow Phil. Thank you for watching this episode with the Cigar Symphony with Kevin and
Don.
check you guys out later. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, do everything so that we can get all this information out to you. This was such an exciting episode with some amazing people, with some great cigars. So you don't want to miss it. Thank you again.